Off to the other football results from Week 10. Anthony Rodriguez ran for 100 yards and Caleb Evans threw for 100 yards, but South Carroll couldn't keep pace with Williamsport, who beat SC for the first time. Ben Stevens ran for a touchdown to give FSK an early lead against Middletown, but the Knights responded in a big way and moved on in the playoffs. Liberty rode a big ground game to cruise past Century in their second of back-to-back wins over the Knights. Time for an updated look at the football standings through the first week of the playoffs. Winners Mill had the week off, so the Falcons remain at 8-1 overall. Man Valley moves to 6-4 with their win over Westminster. Liberty gets back to 500 thanks to that win over Century for the second time in as many weeks. The second round of the regional football playoffs features 2 county teams hitting the road and 1 getting to play at home. Man Valley heads to Linganore, Liberty visits Middletown, and Winters Mill hosts Williamsport. We have another CMSportsNet football playoffs highlight show on tap for you Friday night at 10:30. Join me and former South Carroll coach Mike Krause as we dissect the playoff games and look ahead to the next round of the postseason. Liberty heads west to face Middletown, and the Lions are 0-6 all-time against the Knights. The last time they faced off, the 2016 playoffs, Middletown prevailed 48-7. Man Valley takes on Linganore for the first time in program history. The Lancers are 9-1 and come into this game winners of 6 in a row. Winters Mill played Williamsport in Week 1. The Falcons took care of the Wildcats 38-14 by running for 180 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Big Mill is 1-1 in that all-time series. Let's look at the updated Class 3A West playoff bracket. Unbeaten Oakdale hosting Sherwood in their second round matchup, and you see Man Valley has its matchup with the Lancers in Newmarket. The winners of those games move on to the quarterfinals in the state. Team stats matchup time. Let's start with the Mavericks and the Lancers. Linganore has outscored its opponents by an average of 43-10 this season. Very impressive. And Man Valley comes into this game having won 4 of its last 5 games. Speaking of the Mavericks, they feature the county's leader in receptions. That's James Herndon. He averages more than 14 yards per catch. While on defense, Cameron Reed has a whopping 15 tackles for loss on the season so far. Okay, let's look at the 2A, 1A West playoff bracket. We have those pair of county teams playing in the second round of the regional playoffs, making it possible that 2 Carroll teams from the same region could advance to the state quarterfinals next week. You saw that bottom half of the 2A, 1A West. That's where Liberty travels to Frederick County to take on Middletown. The Lions offense got healthy against Century the past 2 weeks, outscoring the Knights 77-0 in those games. Now some players to watch for Liberty. Tristan West has more than 700 receiving yards. This year, that's the most in Carroll County, and linebacker Nico Marsicano has a team best 72 tackles this fall for Liberty. All right, let's move over to Winters Mill. We charted the Falcons for most of their regular season, one that had them post the best record in school history. The next step is getting the team's first ever playoff win, which could happen Friday night when Winters Mill hosts Williamsport for the second time this year. Malachi Danning has become one of the Falcons' many talented running backs with 420 rushing yards this year. Now, they've been without standout Caleb Crouch since Week 8 when he went down for the season with a knee injury. The Wildcats ended their 5-game losing streak last week by beating South Carroll in the playoffs, but their defense comes into Friday's game allowing 31.7 points per game. Winters Mill has given up 8 points or fewer 5 times this season, so their defense is sturdy. Some players to watch for Winters Mill. The Falcons have senior Camden Cook, who shines in all 3 phases for his team. You can see Cook's kicking stats are solid this year. Another player to watch is linebacker Nico Baez and his team high 59.5 tackles. Okay, time to get into the coach's corner. Let's stay with Winters Mill and hear from Falcons coach Matt Miller as his team heads into Week 11 rested and ready to go. Coach, we've reached Week 11. After a first-round playoff bye, you're set to face Williamsport this week. What's the mood like with the kids this week in practice? You had the extra week off to sort of get ready, and we talk about whether it's rest and rust. I would say it's rest. You tell me, how's it gone so far as you get ready for this playoff game?
I think they're excited. I said last week I was a little unsure about how the bye week would go, but it actually turned out to be a blessing for us. We were able to get things right, get some kids healthy. But I think they're excited. They are looking forward to our game on Friday. Hopefully it's going to be another great atmosphere against a very good opponent.
Yeah, we watched the Williamsport game last Friday. You know a little bit about them. You faced them earlier in the season. You know what they do well and what you need to do well to get them. What's the 1 or 2 things, first off, that impressed you the most about Williamsport?
It's the same thing that impressed me when we watched them in Week 1 and when we saw them last year. They have 2 or 3 kids that can score anytime they touch the football. We can't let number 9 behind us because he will score. Number 14 is a load. He's a very good runner. He's a hard runner. We have to gang tackle him, and their quarterback's really coming along very well. He gives them another dimension in the ground game as well if the play breaks down. So I told our kids we can't let those 3 beat us.
Yeah. Now, you have the advantage of having beaten them this year. How much of that is important for these guys and their mentals and their psyche, just to know that we faced this team before and we got a victory earlier in the season that kind of got you to where you are right now?
I think the familiarity piece is a plus, but that was a lifetime ago. You know, we've already seen in the last week teams playing teams that they'd already previously beaten, and you can't fall into that trap. Well, it's going to be the same thing again. It's tough to beat a team twice, especially a team that you were probably close with the first time, even the score might not have indicated. So I think they're comfortable with who they're playing, but they understand it is a big challenge ahead of them.
What are the couple of things in your mind that you have to do well to get a win against Williamsport this week?
You got to run the ball we're not going to deviate from our plan. We're going to run the football like we have all year. We need to play great defense against, especially covering up number 9, number 14. Just can't let them beat us. And if we do those things, I like our chances.
Thanks to Coach Miller. Don't forget, we will see highlights from Winters Mill's game against Williamsport, as well as the Liberty Middletown and Man Valley Linganore games on Friday night at 10:30. Mike Kraus joins me in studio for another CMSportsNet football playoff highlight show. We're going to find out if Carroll has some more playoff football to be played, and we will find that out in the next coming weeks. Want more local sports coverage? Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.